going on? What's going on?
You are the community of restoration and enlightenment. Community, all of us coming together. Restoration to that default spiritual awareness that's always in you, ever present. You just need to awaken and return back to what you already know that you know. And enlightenment, being a light first, waking up within your own higher consciousness, and then being a light to others. Welcome to this Friday session. We are excited to just hit you real brief tonight, and with a good topic that my husband came up with, as well as just check in. It holds space for you. It's been a lot going on for me in the legal community. The passing of the notorious RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who for 30 years was one of the most liberal justices, one of 4 liberal justices, let me say that, and who helped women with just being in that space, the second on the Supreme Court as a feminine presence and role model for so many over the years. We got the ruling in the Breonna Taylor matter, and it's a lot of pain and frustration behind that, as well as disappointment and anger. Whatever you're feeling, you have to honor it, but then channel it. Wherever you are in your space, you need to then go out and make sure, as the late Honorable Representative John Lewis said, you get into good trouble, use your voice, the voice of your vote, and tell other people around you, your children that are 18 and older, your elders that are maybe shut in, make sure they're registered, make sure they use their voice, and let's try to change the tide and swing the pendulum back.
That's right. Let's vote. Let's vote. Let's vote. So the topic that we wanted to just get into real briefly today is, I saw a video the other day that really inspired me, that there was a man, he was getting ready to leave out of the house to go, and it appeared to be like an interview, and his wife they were kind of like passing, and then she stopped and just took a moment and grabbed him and fixed his tie, and she just spoke like all of these positive things and affirmations over his life, like who's the king of the house and who's the man, and you got this, and you're worthy, and and all of these great things. And he was like, you can see he was kind of nervous, but after she spoke over him, he kind of walked out like hype, like he was like a basketball player. He was ready. He was like, yeah, I got this, and they kissed, and he was able to go out. Now I thought about that and the importance of speaking positive over your significant other, or even your children, right? Or people that you love, people you care about, speaking positive over them before they leave out, or before you leave out. Maybe you speak positive. So like right now, we're in a dynamic with the pandemic that B is at home with the children. So a lot of times I leave out and I'm gone and she's still asleep because I leave out so early in the morning. But when we are around one another, it's important that we speak positive over one another. We are fortunate enough that, that we're in an era that we have cell phones. So her and I talk several times during the day anyway. But it's good to just check in. Hey, how's it going? But before that person leaves, it would be awesome if before your children leave out, before your significant other, if you could just speak positive over them. You're worthy. You're good enough. You're beautiful. You can handle it. Whatever goes on today. And listen, don't worry. If things don't go the way we planned it, the way you think, the way you want them, I'm going to be here when you get here, still supporting, still cheering you on, still letting you know that, hey, somebody loves you. Even if in this crazy world that seems to be doing everything they can to piss black and brown people off, we need to have that support system for one another and for each other. So that's what we wanted to talk about today. Just speaking positive over your loved ones. When our daughter was going to school, when our son was going to daycare, wifey had this thing with them. They would go over their positive affirmations before they would go, and she would speak over them and let them know that they're going to do good, they're going to nail it, that they look great.
And I do it in their sleep, and we still do it when we're home.
Right.
It may not be every day, but we do it just to remind one another that you are great and you are amazing.
Yeah.
I'm good for doing it when I'm going and check on the children at night, or if I'm just holding them. and they're not babies anymore, but they are in the toddler stage to the young child phase, and I speak over them more than prayer, but more of just speaking into their spirit and their subconscious while they're asleep. And I'll do it with my husband. Yeah. I'll because he wakes up early and goes to bed quicker than I do. I will get in the bed oftentimes, and when my spirit is full, I'll just speak over him while he's asleep, and tell him you're doing good and keep going, and more kind of just putting it into his mind, and he'll be like, babe, I heard you last night, or rubbing on him or whatever. And so, hey, it's easy to do it when things are good, but we challenge you to do it even when you're not feeling like you're jiving, because you can. That it's more important to do it even then, because that's when the enemy can creep into your home and into your relationship, and you got to try to push past it. Don't let that person leave out for an important event and you not say one thing positive to them, even if you might not have been getting along for the past few days. Try to push past it. Or sometimes I get frustrated being home with the children so much, and we'll be going over something, or I'll realize they're not paying attention on their work, and I realize that positive reinforcement can sometimes bring them back and make them refocus on the work rather than me biting at them and snipping at them.
Yeah, and I think as humans, in our humanness that we're experiencing as spiritual beings, right? I think we sometimes have a tendency to focus on what's not right, or sometimes have a tendency to focus on what's negative or what's bad. And listen, everybody should be held accountable. Absolutely. So you want to make sure that, in your relationships and then with your children, you're holding each other accountable. There's nothing wrong with that. And responsibility, make sure everybody's taking responsibility for their actions.
Right.
But in management, they taught us about what's called the compliment sandwich. And so sometimes when I bring in some of my guys that's up under me, and if I do have to write them up or do a counseling statement, I begin with a compliment. And then I may put in the middle, hey, this is where you messed up. This is where you may get this counseling statement. And then I reinforce them on the back with another compliment to let them know, listen, all is not lost. You haven't lost your job. I just need you to be accountable and responsible for your actions, and I need to be able to trust you. And so it's the same thing. I think we sometimes just focus on all the negative, and if you're just coming in every day, all you're hearing is negative, you like, after a while, you're like, well, what am I doing right? Or am I doing anything right? And so we just want to encourage you to make sure that you encourage each other. Sometimes you got to look in the mirror and encourage yourself, as the song says, but it's so much more powerful when you have somebody in your corner that's there to encourage you, not always nitpicking the negative, but letting you know, hey, these are the areas where you are doing good. Keep going. I love this about you,
Yeah. Well, I think that kind of sums it up. The only thing I will say, we'll tease one another like, hey, did you notice I did this? So like his thing is he loves having the air on and when he comes home from work, or maybe I'll make sure that the children's toys are picked up when he gets here. And so I'll be like, did you notice that I had the air on? So if there is something that you've been asking the other person to do, just as you acknowledge when they didn't do it, and you had to ask, like, hey, can you meet me halfway on this? Is this something you can do that will go a long way for me? Just as you can acknowledge when they don't do it, make sure you acknowledge it when they do.
Yeah. It's easy for us to complain, and it's difficult sometimes for us to compliment. So we want to make sure you're doing more complimenting than you are complaining. If you find yourself in a space where there's more complaining than compliment, then it's time for you two to check in and have a real good talk. And maybe you might want to see some counseling or coaching or something like that in your life. If everything is all complaints and no compliments. All right. So we love you guys. We hope you have a wonderful weekend. We hope that you're staying positive as much as you can in this crazy, crazy, crazy world. And most of all, and most important, that you have peace in your heart and in your home. Follow us at TheCoreofU, C-O-R-E of the letter U. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and we also have a YouTube page, TheCoreofU. Have a great weekend, guys, and we'll holler at you soon. Peace.